Hello there, my internet friends. My name is Soul, and today it is a very special day because we are doing something we have only done once before, and that is spinning a big wheel full of video games and playing whatever it happens to land on, clearing my backlog one spin at a time. Let's do it. Alright, here we have our big wheel of games. I'm gonna get rid of Halo 2 because that's the first one we played, which hopefully I've recorded, edited. I've uploaded that video by now, right? By the time this one comes out. Anyway, these 9 games, I would love to play all of them. I have no preference. I have no idea what it's going to land on. I'm very excited. Let's do it. Okay. Oh, it's Undertale. Oh, they threw me for a loop. I thought it was going to be Dragon Age. Undertale. Okay. Let's see what this is all about. What the fuck did I just play? Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss for words with Undertale. I didn't think when I made this wheel I'd be so stunned by a game this quickly, but here we are. I've been doing this for like 10 years now, so I can pretty much yap about anything for as long as I want to at this point. But there's a lot of things I'm hesitant to talk about because they're so special to me and I want to do them justice. Or I feel like that the online community has already talked about that thing to death and I don't have like a unique stance on it to really add to that perspective. In both cases, that's how I feel about Undertale. This is a game that made its way onto the wheel of games because its mythos was legendary and kind of mysterious. This is a game that quickly in its heyday was talked about in discussions for the greatest game of all time. It's also a game created by a single person. It's a game with characters that are so infamous by this point that I knew a lot of them by name. I knew a lot of their personalities already just by online internet culture. But nothing was gonna prepare me for the journey that was Undertale. I could tell early on this was going to be a meta game, fourth wall breaks galore. I love games like the Stanley Parable. I thought this would kind of be in that vein, but that's just the first layer in the Shrek-sized onion that is Undertale. And within that onion is just a video gamey ass video game. In this flooded and bloated AAA gaming world we're living in, it's easy to forget those simple things that make video games fucking awesome. Games with unique ending and narrative consequences. When you hear those perfect sound effects or music that is cleverly and meticulously put in place. Subtle and extensive lore that you can lose yourself in. But at the same time, it breaks every video game rule ever. Even if just for the sake of a dumb joke. Every time this happens, I just gleefully smile. I would try to sell my items at a shop as you do in video games, and the shopkeepers would just scold me and act like I'm just trying to pass their junk onto them. Then there's the game's combat, which just breaks itself over and over again. To somebody that hasn't played Undertale, there's not a lot I could say or even want to say to you specifically. I don't think I'm gonna convince you to play Undertale in this video. That's not the point of this video. But I will say that you should go into this game blind. It is as stupid or simple as it is genius and complicated. So for those who haven't played Undertale, here's my simple review. It is a must-play game. Don't put it off like I did. Don't get distracted like I did. Stay focused, but most importantly, stay determined. Alright, so spoilers and stuff. So a friend of mine told me to play Undertale like 10 years ago, and it wasn't even on console back then, so I did not. Foolishly. But he did explain to me how there's a pacifist run and a genocide run. But I remember kind of watching him play, him explaining the pacifist route, so naturally whenever I picked up the controller and played this game, that's the route I kind of naturally took. And I fucking loved it, man, because naturally, like in an RPG like this, you would defeat every monster and level up, and I like how it spins that on its head and makes that a bad thing to do. And if you are a pacifist, it kind of turns into a puzzle game on top of like a dialogue reader. Like you're trying to swerve your way around every encounter to try to get out of them. It's also cool because you can befriend your enemies. Like Papyrus and Undyne were these big characters who had big openings, and after you defeat them you can kind of just hang out with them and see what it's like inside their houses and stuff like that. Yeah, I kind of fell in love with this game's narrative, and with any big narrative game there's the question of, would this be a good adaptation for film or television? And just like all things, I think yes, you could make a good adaptation of Undertale, but you shouldn't, because I have zero faith in the system that we currently have that makes those things happen. But let's say the perfect adaptation of Undertale exists, I still think you're gonna lose a lot of what made Undertale special in that. When Tori tells me to wait there and I wait for minutes on end just to get a mundane phone call from her, that's not gonna be in the adaptation. The metaphor that your character in battle is just a heart that represents their soul, and all the other souls within you change color and based upon the gameplay will slide in and out. The payoff for that is not going to be in the adaptation. The meta storytelling from your enemies, knowing how many times they've killed you, the ability to reset being a common storytelling mechanic, the characters fleeing from villages after you kill enemies, I have no idea how you adapt any of that, let alone do it well. That's honestly for the better. The reason some of the greatest games of all time have had bad adaptations is because a lot of the things that make video games so great have to be experienced through this medium. Undertale is a simple RPG with very little mechanics, but the impression its world, its gameplay, and the mythos leaves on people is profound. One of the reasons I love video games is not because I saw something awesome, it's because I got to be a part of something that was awesome. It's because I picked up the controller and I shaped the world. It's because I picked up the controller, I walked into the underground, and I shaped it for the better in what was probably the best morality system in any game I've ever played. Growing up, I love games like Fable, Fallout, Infamous, games that let you decide if you want to be the hero or the villain, and there was this whole morality system. And as much as I love those games, that's not really what happened there, was it? I really didn't get to make a big choice like it was marketed as. Maybe a couple different dialogue options, a couple little things here and there based on your playthroughs. But it never felt like you were gonna have that night and day alternate game based on the choices you made. But when you choose to be a villain in Undertale, you are choosing to be evil the entire game, and the world is terrified of you. Your actions have consequences, the music changes, and it becomes a completely different game. And the great thing about that is it's just the simple RPG where you beat up monsters again. But I chose the pacifist route, and I was so happy with the results that I went back and I achieved the true pacifist ending. Watching the characters that I fell in love with look at the sunset, eating some desserts made by my mom, it was one of the best video game endings I've ever had. And then I jumped online and I saw the genocide route. I got to hear other people's experiences. I got to watch a bunch of incredible analysis videos covering this game that I've been sitting on for far too long. The world of Undertale exists beyond this game, and I'm only scratching the surface into the fandom of this world. I'm starting to learn of the cringy side of this world too. That's a little scary, but I guess I'm here now. And when I made the spinny wheel of video games, that's what I wanted to achieve. On this wheel are video games whose legends are so strong, I feel like I have to play them to level up my gamer card and achieve true enlightenment. And Undertale is true enlightenment if I've ever experienced it. But for real, when I landed on Undertale, I got exactly what I wanted and then some. It was a big game I was curious about. Not only did I learn about it, not only did I have a great experience. This is gonna sound a little hyperbolic, but I do feel like the world of video games has become just a little bit bigger, and that's exactly what I wanted to get out of this randomizer. And that's why I'm giving Undertale a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more video game content from me, or more specifically videos where I spin this wheel and play some of the greatest games of all time, please let me know, and let me know what else should I add to the wheel. But until next time, thank you for watching, and with that, I leave you.